speaking of former President Biden, House Republicans on the Oversight Committee now want to investigate the use of the auto pen during his term, based on the book that came out, Original Sin, which Republicans say this backs up what we were saying for years before that of his cognitive decline.
Yeah.
So what do you make of their desire to investigate the use of the auto pen?
It's just more distractions, to be perfectly honest. We know that Joe Biden is not currently in office. We know that chances are Joe Biden is not going to re-enter office. And so why are we spending our time on this? Why is it that you said that we needed Doge, and yet you've not had Elon Musk come before us to lay out exactly where it is that he felt like we should be making cuts? In fact, y'all just did whatever random cuts y'all wanted to do. We didn't get a Doge report. Doge didn't come in and say, oh, you should do this or that. And so what I think the American people want is a government that is focused on their current issues. And I can tell you that I've never talked to any constituent that was worried about the auto pen. I'm gonna tell you that the average constituent don't even know that the auto pen exists, don't even know anything about it, right? Like, I can tell you that they are saying, we don't know if we're gonna have jobs, or we just lost our jobs, or we don't know if we're gonna have benefits, or we don't know if we're gonna be able to afford Christmas, or we don't know if we're gonna be able to afford a roof over our head. There's a lot of things that we can dig into, such as maybe we should call in the Secretary of VA so that he can talk to us about how these firings have impacted the services that they've delivered or not, right? Like, there are real issues that people really want to talk about, and this isn't one. And if they want to talk about medical issues, we also could have a conversation about Trump, because I don't know what's going on. I know that he's not necessarily the creme de la creme in general, because we know that potentially part of his issues as it relates to Harvard is that, well, he got rejected. So we know that he's not ever been known as kind of like the scholarly guy. We know that he will never be known as this amazing orator as some of our former presidents were. Barack Obama, another one of his favorites, right? We know that that's not his wheelhouse, but we also know that, like, he is like next level unhinged, and he's been unhinged since the campaign. Like, the fact that people ignore the fact that he was constantly talking about the whales or the sharks, and he was talking about, the windmills, I don't know. Just all over the place. And recently at West Point decided to talk about trophy wives, and decided to talk about his investigations. And then right after the crypto event, he couldn't read the words on the teleprompter. Like, he did not know the words. He couldn't read it. I don't know what's going on. But, like, if we want to talk about something, we need to talk about whether or not he really has the cognitive ability, because he is the current sitting president, and whether or not the 25th Amendment should apply is something that maybe we should be digging into. I got a lot of things we could do on oversight, and this just isn't one.
Well, the Republicans on oversight have said they thought that Democrats lied and the White House lied to the American people about the former President Biden's, cognitive decline, when people saw it for themselves on the screen, whatever. And so what do you say to those who say the Democrats hurt themselves in that whole deal?
I think we did hurt ourselves. I don't think it's for the reasons that you're laying out, but I do think we hurt ourselves, because what Democrats tend to do is the Republicans know how to create an ecosystem of commentary, whether it's true or not, right? Because how long have we been talking about the whole Medicaid thing? Like, they will continue to readjust their message, but they are going to have a message, and they are going to create an ecosystem of lies, right? And so there were Democrats that fell for it, and we became divided. And that is how it led to this kind of unprecedented moment of Joe Biden stepping down and Kamala Harris running. And so I think that people should have just stuck to their guns about what it is that they knew. Now, obviously, it's not like I've known Joe Biden my whole life, because I haven't. But I can tell you that I literally have had conversations with him, not once, not twice, probably not even 3 times, multiple times. And I never, ever, ever felt like I saw anything that was decline. Now, would I be honest if I said that we don't all decline at some point? Like, there has to be a point, just because we're aging, that there is like a level of kind of fall off that we all have. I think that that's the natural part of aging. It's the same thing that happens with our bodies, right? Like, this is a whole body thing. Like, you probably not running 10 miles anymore like you used to, right? So there is a natural, but does that mean that you're not qualified? Or does it mean that it is so detrimental that it's causing harm? Absolutely not. Because I can remember vividly, you know, when all these stories started to kind of start up, and there was this interview, and actually it wasn't an interview, it was a press conference. It was a press conference, and it had to deal with foreign affairs. And, you know, Joe Biden, anybody know anything about him, they know foreign affairs is like his wheelhouse. And he was so on point. Like, he understood, like, on a whole other level. And frankly, the rest of the world actually respected him. And it's not like, you know who the world is pissed off at? It wasn't Joe Biden. It's Donald Trump. When you have literally King Charles that's going off in Canada about Trump, when you have Canada, one of our close allies, that's going off about Trump, when you have Mexico, one of our close allies, that's going off about Trump. These are people that had an opportunity to interact with both. And let me tell you, no one claimed that he was unintelligent or that there was some level of decline to where he was unable to comprehend or unable to perform. That did not exist. And so the fact that we buy into these false narratives, the fact that we're even having this conversation when literally Joe Biden is not the president, and right now whatever harms that are going to be suffered by the American people have nothing to do with Joe Biden, because we didn't have to worry about the stock market crashing every other day when Joe Biden was in office. We didn't have to worry about whether or not people were going to have their Medicaid when Joe Biden was in office. We didn't have debates about whether or not people would have Social Security when Joe Biden was in office. So let me tell you, if Joe Biden was like mentally deficient in some way and he was still able to keep this sucker on the tracks, then give me a mentally deficient Joe Biden any given day over Donald Trump.